Pleasant good evening to you. We have the Deputy Chief Secretary.
Yes, you do. Good evening. How are you this evening?
Good evening to you, Dr. Faith B Yisrael. Good evening indeed. It's a pleasure having you on the Observer. Thank you so much for taking time out. How do you feel? I mean, earlier this week, budget delivered, finance minister, a lot was said. And of course, they outlined the allocation for Tobago for the fiscal year 2024. The allocation totals $2.585 billion. And a breakdown of that, of course, is $2.298 billion is for recurrent expenditure, $260 million is for the development program expenditure, and $18 million is for the URP, and $9.2 million for CPEP. Now, here to me, and a lot of people agree, is the slap in the face. On top of that, beyond the budgetary allocation to the THC, an additional $678.5 million is allocated to various ministries and state agencies to undertake and execute major projects in Tobago. What does that tell us? I mean, what's the feeling like among you and your colleagues?
So I sat there on Monday afternoon listening to the minister present.
Go ahead. Oh, you're breaking up a bit.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead. We're hearing you now. Go ahead.
Right. I sat there listening to the minister who indicated that the policies that the Tobago House of Assembly used to create the budget that we, the Tobago House of Assembly, on sound policies and sound data and so forth.
Are you coming in and out? I don't know if you're moving around. We're picking you up and then we're losing you.
What?
Are you moving around?
But what about now? Is this okay?
We're hearing you perfect now, right there. We're hearing you well.
So I'll stay in this exact position.
that will be.
So we have a situation where we were insulted continually throughout the budget. Every time he spoke about Tobago, he went further and further down the rabbit hole of insulting every single Tobagonian. He started on a high by indicating that the economy of Tobago had improved quite a bit, which we have been telling individuals because of the work we've put in over the last 2 years or so. He also started by indicating that the principles that we had used to be the foundation for our requests were quite good. And then he plummeted downhill by indicating that he then wished us luck, which was very, very insulting to every single Tobagonian. As a matter of fact, I think every single Trinidadian should be insulted because this shows an absolute disregard for half of the country. Now, you spoke specifically about the $600 or so million that he indicated is in other ministries that should be used in Tobago. And this is a line that they continually use to try to insult us again, to try to trick us into thinking that we are not just getting the $260 million for development that is allocated to the Tobago House of Assembly. They say this every year, but I am sure that if you ask any Tobagonian whether they see $600 or $700 million worth of development happening on the island outside of what the Tobago House of Assembly does, they will tell you absolutely no. He went to further break down that $600 and so million, and of that, $400 million of that is going to the airport construction. And if we think about it, that means that money is actually coming to Tobago and then leaving right back, because it is not Tobagonians who are building the airport. This is a foreign company that is building the airport. And I understand even the components that should have been provided by locals were further outsourced back out to Tobago. So that $400 million is not staying on the island. The other areas that he identified, we do not have any accounts of any of those monies really being spent in Tobago. And let me indicate something. One of the things that we've had to take our little bit of money from the Tobago House of Assembly to do is to ensure that those that are part of the protective services, which are 6 scheduled items, is well taken care of. We have had to actually spend money from the Tobago House of Assembly to take care of those. So, for example, we are the ones renting cars so that the police can drive around in Tobago. We are the ones fixing up the prisons and the army barracks so that those individuals are comfortable and can work well. We are the ones who are working with the fire service to ensure that they are in comfortable spaces. We are the ones spending our Tobago THA money to do those things. So we do not understand when he says that 600 and so million will be spent in Tobago through projects, through the ministries, what that means, because that has never actually really materialized in a way that makes sense to the average Tobagonian.
Yeah, and the Roxborough Fire Station headquarters at a cost of $1.9 million. Is this going to be a Tobagonian contractor, someone from Tobago?
Well, the thing is that the Roxborough Fire Station was already built, was already commissioned. They came up and opened it over 2 years ago. So I do not know if they are planning to build another Roxborough Fire Station, which says that they really, really are not in touch. Now, let me be clear about this. If we had a situation where the Tobago House of Assembly sat very closely with the ministers in the various ministries, indicating that these were priorities for the people of Tobago, and therefore we would agree that you would do this and I would do that, then we would have no problem. But those kinds of collaborative discussions have not been happening, and therefore we have no evidence that the projects that they plan to do, if they will do them at all, are projects that are of priority for the people of Tobago.
Yeah, all right, and the desilting of the Hillsborough Dam at a cost of $7.5 million.
You know, since I could remember, we have been promising to desilt that dam forever and ever and ever and a day. That is absolutely ridiculous that we are continuing to use those projects as promises to the people of Tobago. Let me say, though, that another observation was made while I was sitting there being totally insulted by all of this. The minister indicated when we sent the budget from the Tobago House of Assembly, we asked for a $1.1 or so billion for development funding for Tobago. What we got, as you rightly indicated, was $260 million. But while I am sitting there listening to the minister indicate that Tobago would get only $260 million to do all of our developmental stuff, I had to also listen to him boast about a San Fernando Hospital car park expansion that took $150 million to do, about the Hazley Crawford Stadium refurbishment that took $90 million to do. And when you add both of those, you've already surpassed the amount of money that Tobago is being given to do everything we have to do as it relates to development for the entire year. That in and of itself says how much they absolutely do not care about anyone who considers themselves a friend or a family of Tobago.
And I have to ask you this, I have to put you on this, but do you believe that in some way there's an essence of political vindictiveness here as far as the people of Tobago?
I don't even know. I don't know that we have to guess. The Prime Minister clearly indicated that he will not forgive Tobago if Tobago did not vote for his organization. He clearly stated that he was on a political platform when he said that. So I don't know that we are in any position to have to guess. It is quite clear that that is what is happening at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking recurrent expenditure, you're talking URP, you're talking CPEP, and of course saying that $260 million is for the development program expenditure, and you're quite right. He spoke about the car park, the stadium, and what have you. So what is expected to take place in Tobago? What does central government expect Tobago to do with this amount of money that basically shows that it's a slap in the face? And how do they expect Tobago to do any kind of development moving forward?
And it shows that they absolutely do not. You know, I remember my mother and those who've been around way before I have been, indicating that one of the reasons that they have a difficult time supporting the organization known as the People's National Movement is the fact that its founder basically said at one point that Tobago and Tobagonians can eat grass. And I am feeling like if we are right back at that point where they are saying to Tobago and Tobagonians to eat grass because we do not care, we will not expend any monies, we are willing to spend $150 million on a car park expansion. Now granted, I need to go to San Fernando Hospital to see what this car park expansion looked like. And then say to Tobago, $260 million is all you get. And I now have to fix the entire hospital. My colleagues have to fix all of the roads. They have to fix the schools. They have to do everything with that $260 million, which is nothing more than a slap in the face.
And moving forward, because I have to get your closing comments here, and you're right, and I agree with you wholeheartedly on all that you say. I share your sentiments. But again, I'm certain that the people of Tobago are waking up to the fact that what's taking place here, that the THA is being undermined, and their development is not a priority. This is a matter of, and I want to ask you, do you believe that the government has started campaigning now already in Tobago based on all these figures that you're looking at?
Well, it is very clear that the government has started campaigning, but I do not understand how they expect the same people who they are maliciously undermining, how do they expect those same individuals to vote for them in the general election? You see, it would make sense if Tobago was not a part of the general election and we only participated in the Tobago House of Assembly election. But there are two seats in Tobago, Tobago East and West. And for the longest while, those two seats are the seats that determine who becomes the government in Trinidad and Tobago. So it is clear that those on the other side, that the People's National Movement, do not want those two seats and therefore do not care about really retaining the governance. So I don't understand if this is their campaign strategy. It is the absolute most ridiculous, most foolish campaign strategy that they could employ, because it's the same Tobagonians that they will be asking to vote for them.
And my final question to you, is the Chief Secretary looking on, making note of everything, and one must not take his silence for weakness? Am I right if I say that?
The Chief Secretary is actually currently out of the country, but he has been looking on. He has been paying very keen attention. As a matter of fact, he has appeared on, I think, TTT today, on TV6 last night, and a couple other programs. But exactly, we in the Tobago House of Assembly, we are keenly looking on, and we are ensuring that we do what is best for the people of Tobago, and that means defending it to the max.
And I wish you all the best, you and your entire team. I know it's not an easy battle, but there are folks who will always try to undermine. But I believe that Tobago has awakened to what they need, what they want, and they will, of course, stand up for it. All the best to you and your team. Anything else you want to say? Go right ahead.
I just want to say to the people of Trinidad and Tobago that our aim really is to maintain a unitary state, to maintain this state known as Trinidad and Tobago. And the only way this country known as Trinidad and Tobago will be a prosperous one is if both entities are developed and developed equitably. We have spent a lot of time and a lot of resources developing Trinidad, and it is time that we actually give Tobago a fighting chance. We are asking just for that. And I would also like to encourage those of you who may be party goers and interested in Carnival, that the Tobago Carnival is happening at the end of October. Make your way to Tobago. It is going to be a wonderful, wonderful feat, and we welcome all of Trinidad on the island for Tobago Carnival at the end of the month.
Thank you so much, Deputy Chief Secretary. All the best to you and your entire team. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.